Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Amy Reeves, and we will be covering the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Oftentimes during this presentation, I will refer to this act as WIOA. The Workforce Investment Act of 1998, WIA, established a one-stop career center system. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act now supersedes WIA. WIOA now amends the Adult Education and Family Literacy Act of 1998. This act is the principal source of federal funding for adult education. WIOA also amends the Wagner-Pfizer Act of 1933 and 1998. This act established a nationwide system of public employment offices. WIOA now requires employment services built on previous reforms and requires merger of these offices into American Job Centers. Performance indicators also must align with federal workforce programs. Finally, WIOA amends the Title I of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. This act works to remove barriers to high-quality careers for individuals with disabilities and helps businesses to hire and retain skilled workers. This act also requires vocational rehabilitation agencies to allocate 15% of federal funds received to provide pre-employment transition services for students with disabilities. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act was signed into law on July 22, 2014 by President Obama. This act is meant to create a new vision for America and how we prepare individuals for the workforce. WIOA requires coordination between government agencies and local businesses, education agencies, and nonprofit agencies. These agencies are tasked with strengthening career pathways, work-based learning experiences, sector strategies, business engagement, and delivering effective services. The joint final rule aligns the 6 WIOA core programs that include adults, dislocated workers, youth employment services, adult education, and vocational rehabilitation. Coordinated planning requires states to submit a unified state plan or a combined state plan that reflects planning by core programs and workforce system partners. Aligning accountability implements provisions to improve accountability and transparency within the workforce system while measuring employment and educational outcomes. Improving service delivery streamlines services in each state to create a one-stop service for workers and families. Key provisions of the Title II Adult Dislocated Worker, Youth National Programs, Job Corps, and Title II Employment Service Program include 8 major areas. Integrated services to job seekers and businesses to access a seamless system of high-quality education, employment, and training. Additionally, government agencies will support individuals seeking employment and training and businesses who are seeking skilled workers. Increased access to relevant training increases access to job-driven training using labor market data and feedback from community employers. Training can incorporate work-based learning strategies like on-the-job training and apprenticeships. Additional training and career counseling, support services, and needs-related payments can be made available as well. Wider array of services for youth allow for work experiences, career guidance, financial literacy education, and skills training. Improved services for business better align services with those of their community by requiring regional planning to occur. Greater emphasis on re-employment allows government agencies to respond to unemployment needs by integrating unemployment insurance, rapid response to worker dislocation, and grants through the National Dislocated Worker to help with training and re-employment of effective workers. Better information means better decision making requires boards to use current labor market information, evaluations, and data when counseling potential workers on programs available. The Streamlined Indian and Native American Program requires grants to be awarded in a competitive process aligning with other WIOA-funded programs. Improve services and protections for farm workers. Create regulations to provide migrant and seasonal workers with training, housing assistance, youth services, and other related assistance as needed. The key provisions of the Title II Adult Education and Family Literacy Act program include 4 main areas that focus on improving alignment between adult education programs, post-secondary education providers, and employers. Transition from adult basic education to post-secondary education, post-secondary training, or employment continues to emphasize high school completion, but it also emphasizes that it does not have to be the end of that individual's education, and encourages individuals to further their opportunities and self-sufficiency. This rule implements integrated education and training, workforce preparation activities, and career pathway programming. The English language learning rule formalizes adult education for assisting immigrants and English language learners in learning to read, write, and speak, and adds mathematics, civics education, and workforce training to services offered. Innovative supports for reentry encourages investment in and programming for educational and career advancement for incarcerated individuals. The Supports for Families and Communities rule emphasizes adult education and literacy in supporting skill achievement for family members of children to improve economic opportunities for their families. Implementing WIOA means significant changes to programs under the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Title IV, specifically the Vocational Rehabilitation Program. The final rule has 3 key goals. By aligning the VR program with other core programs within the workforce development system, this allows the workforce system to create seamless, customer-focused service across all programs. It enhances access to services and improves long-term employment outcomes for individuals with disabilities. By strengthening the VR program's focus on competitive integrated employment for individuals with disabilities, specifically those with significant disabilities, this rule will require a mindset change that all are capable of achieving high-quality, competitive integrated employment with the necessary services and supports. This rule will increase the employment of individuals with disabilities within the labor market, and the workforce system must provide opportunities for job-driven training and pursue high-quality employment opportunities. The VR program will also enhance access to services for those who are seeking or continuing employment at sub-minimum wages, allowing them to pursue competitive, integrated employment. By expanding VR services to students and youth with disabilities, WIOA will allow for meaningful opportunities to receive services to connect them with the competitive, integrated employment opportunities. WIOA requires VR to expand the population of students eligible for services and the breadth of services provided to those who are transitioning from high school to post-secondary education and employment. WIOA also strengthens the coordination between VR and the local education agency, as intended under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and provides for pre-employment transition services to be offered. WIOA has many implications for transition, specifically the implementation of pre-employment transition services. Job exploration counseling can include discussion and information about the student's vocational interest, inventory results, evaluating the labor market, exploring in-demand industries and occupations, looking at non-traditional employment options, administering vocational assessments, and identifying career pathways. Work-based learning experiences can be in school, after school, or outside of the traditional school setting, and need to be in an integrated environment to the maximum extent possible. These experiences can be job shadowing, mentorship, informal interviews, paid or non-paid internships, student-led enterprises, paid or non-paid work experience, volunteerism, or workplace tours. Counseling strategies for a smooth transition from high school to post-secondary education include documenting accommodations, teaching and promoting self-advocacy skills, identifying financial aid options, identifying strengths and needs, learning style, and goals, identifying admission test accommodations, identifying technology needs to be successful, and applying for vocational rehabilitation services if eligible. When training students for workplace readiness, schools and providers should focus on social interpersonal skills like communication, teamwork, problem solving, professionalism, and conflict resolution. They should also focus on independent living skills like good hygiene, time management, using transportation, money management, community participation, civic responsibility, and developing friendships. Training can also include financial literacy, orientation and mobility skills, job-seeking skills, and other soft skills. It is important to note that these skills referenced are only a few of the many that could be addressed. Self-advocacy is defined by WINTAC as an individual's ability to effectively communicate, convey, negotiate, or assert his or her own interests and or desires. Self-determination means that individuals with disabilities have the freedom to plan their own lives, pursue the things that are important to them, and to experience the same life opportunities as other people in their communities. These skills can include disability understanding and disclosure, setting goals, requesting and using accommodations, and asking and accepting help. In addition to the required pre-employment transition services, vocational rehabilitation agencies can provide services that increase independent living and inclusion in their communities and workspaces, help develop and improve strategies to help individuals obtain and retain competitive, integrated employment, provide information on approaches to implement pre-employment transition services, and coordinate with local education agencies under IDEA. Vocational rehabilitation agencies should attend individualized education program meetings for students with disabilities when they are invited. Work with local workforce boards to provide opportunities for students with disabilities. Work with schools to coordinate the pre-employment transition services, and attend person-centered planning meetings when invited. I want to thank you for joining me today, and here are a few of my references that I went through to get the information. Most of it came from the Department of Education or the Employment and Training Administration. But thank you again, and I appreciate your time.